How you doing, dorks? It's me again. I'm back. I am about to put up another video. In fact, actually, you're watching that video now. And you might hear, maybe, in the background, some noise. And I noticed in editing this video that that noise was present. So I'm apologizing in advance for that. I did edit a lot of it out, but some of the hammering of the construction going on nearby just was too difficult to remove, so you might notice that throughout this episode. But I mean, it's just one of the things that I have to deal with. I complained about a few things on the last episode. I'm complaining about more things now. It's what I do, damn it. They're building a house. Don't we have enough houses? Actually, we really don't. Lots of homeless people. Quite a problem, but not really what this video is about. It's about a fake video game about a fake sport that I really enjoy. So please enjoy my stupid fake video.
Well, we all saw you out here with tears running down your face, wondering why your old man, old Dust, don't love you anymore. Well, I know Dusty Rhodes, and he told me why. It's because you married the biggest gold digger in Georgia, then you put on a woman's wig, and you went around the ring kissing men like a flaming fag. Well, let me tell you something. They're gonna all have tears running down their face when I'm through with you. And what'd you name that brat? Dakota? You should have named her Target, because I heard everybody in Atlanta had a shot at it.
All right. Good luck getting away with a promo like that these days. The inimitable Jerry Lawler. But we're going to start with SmackDown. More from him later. And there was an attack on Jeff Hardy backstage by a man in a chicken suit. We don't know who it was, but suspect number one's got to be Kevin Owens, because Sami Zayn came out for this number one contenders match and thought he had it won, asking the referee to make the count. But to the pleasure of the audience, out comes Jeff Hardy. He's wrapped up. He's ready to go. He runs to the ring, and they get stuck in here. Sami Zayn looking for the advantage going into this one, an illegal advantage, and, well, I suppose he got it, but Jeff Hardy came in ready to rumble. Sami Zayn, though, ever so crafty, does make his way back into the match and doesn't hold back in terms of his tactics, in which he will go to get the win, even within the ropes. Swanton bomb there, countered, and that can't feel good after the attack Jeff Hardy suffered just less than an hour prior to this. Still Sami Zayn going for roll-ups and quick wins. Just no shame. No shame in this Sami Zayn. But he is a talented performer. The Blue Thunder Bomb, another close pinfall for him, but then he rams his big boot into the chin of Jeff Hardy, and that would be the finish, unfortunately. Sami Zayn earning himself a shot at the World Light Heavyweight Champion AJ Styles over Jeff Hardy, and celebrates like he won it all on his own. But let's move over to Raw, where we had a new face, Isaiah Scott, or Swerve Scott, as he is nicknamed, teaming up with Cedric Alexander, number one contender to the Cruiserweight Championship. They take on another face we haven't seen in a little while here, Ricochet, and the champion himself, Eddie Guerrero. So, a packed tag team match here to get us into things on Raw. And a really good exchange between Swerve and Ricochet early on. These two didn't hold back at all against each other and put on a really impressive performance. When Eddie Guerrero got in the ring, he showed himself to be of the world-class caliber that we know him to be, but Swerve held his own, and there was a moment here when, working together with Cedric Alexander, they put on not just a fantastic tag team move, but a rather spectacular one. You see Swerve Scott flying off the apron, and then Cedric Alexander coming off the top rope to the floor but his high-flying wouldn't always be successful. Ricochet coming in and taking over the advantage that Eddie Guerrero gained him. When Swerve gets back in, though, once again, having quite some luck with the very talented Ricochet and really putting him in some danger in this tag match. This really setting up the future of the Cruiserweight division. Eddie Guerrero hits his frog splash, although he was interrupted by Cedric Alexander there, and that may have been just enough to put him off and allow Isaiah Scott the opportunity to kick out of that one. And then you see here a quick roll-up, very technical, precise, and Swerve picks up the win over the World Cruiserweight Champion, and Eddie Guerrero can't believe it. He complains to the referee, but nothing can be done there. And Swerve Scott in his debut makes himself a real figure in the Cruiserweight division. Very impressive. We had Jerry Lawler coming out next, and he brought with him Braun Strowman after a call on his golden phone. And that was his tag team partner against XPac and HBK, the man that Lawler is currently in a blood feud with. And I say blood feud because, of course, these two had a first blood match upcoming at the main event pay-per-view. And with Braun Strowman by his side, taking care of HBK, Jerry Lawler was able to get the win over XPac and take some momentum going into that match at main event, which we will get to now. And the show, coming to you live from Miami, Florida, opened up with the aforementioned Braun Strowman, very new to the WWE, and his lamb led to slaughter was poor old Roderick Strong, and he didn't look too excited about this one. And with good reason. He got crushed in the corner, he got slammed into the corner. There was a moment when he used that technical ability that if he has any advantage, it is there, but he actually tried to escape the ring at that point and was dragged back in, pounded back down, picked up, thrown around, tossed around, choke slammed. It wasn't a real good day at the office for old Roddy Strong, but the misery ended here with a power slam, and I'm sure he was glad it came to a rather quick end. Braun Strowman, though, looking very impressive in his early stages. Moving on to the next match, we had John Cena and another new face in Dexter Lumis, creepy character, taking on AJ Styles, the light heavyweight champion, and a man we've seen just recently, Nakamura, coming over from PWJ, former champion there. And a terrific match here, quite interesting one in terms of the dynamic, given that it's two heavyweights against two light heavyweights. Now, the light heavyweights are certainly more accomplished than the heavyweights are. So some may believe that makes up the ground. But Dexter Lumis and John Cena are both very talented young men and picked for big things in the WWE. Didn't have much of a run in smaller promotions before getting to the WWE. They were scouted pretty early. Dexter Lumis in particular here, given we know less about him, out of the military, dishonorably discharged, did have some hand-to-hand combat training whilst serving, and showed it off here. Not as well-rounded as AJ Styles by any means, but certainly with some abilities. John Cena, of course, we by now know the talent he possesses, gives Nakamura a hard time, but also, you know, we know so much about the striking John Cena possesses, and we got a real interesting look at the level that it really is at when up against a world-class striker in Nakamura. There's that head and arm choke that Dexter Lumis has that he keeps going for. It's very clearly his best move. And at the end here, after a back and forth tussle with AJ Styles, and with John Cena taking Nakamura out of the picture, he has AJ Styles in a lot of trouble here with that head and arm choke. AJ Styles with no one to save him, had to fight out of it himself. Hits the Styles Clash, and about as close to a pinfall as you're going to see. Dexter Lumis making his way out of that, but not out of this. The corkscrew senton, you're not going to get that in the Army. AJ Styles picking up the win with his partner Nakamura and proving themselves and their experience greater, in this case, than the heavyweights. Now, the first title match of the main event pay-per-view was the Usos, who have been a part of the WWE card for quite a while now and have been impressive, taking on the US champions, the US tag team champions, The Way, Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory. These titles are often defended in the NWA just because it's an opportunity for these guys to get more matches in. The WWE just, with all the star power and talent that they have, it can sometimes be hard to get young guys like this the time they need to develop. So that's why it's handed off to the NWA with their working arrangement. But still, they are WWE titles, and they are here defended on a WWE pay-per-view. The Usos will do what it takes to get the win, but Austin Theory in particular proved troublesome for them. Very talented young man with a lot of creative moves. And whenever he was in the ring, he tended to be on top. The Usos really having trouble with him. Either Uso. I can't tell them apart in this game. You see here that the Uso outside of the ring distracting the referee, although he was facing the action, still distracted and didn't get down for that pinfall in time. Then the Usos take Theory out of the picture, and that leaves Gargano to fight for himself, and getting double teamed here, it didn't stand too much of a chance, it seemed. Uso number 2 or 1 goes up to the top rope, hits a splash, and without Theory to save him, that's the end of their title reign. The Usos are the new WWE United States Tag Team Champions. Big win for them. The first title win of their career. Now we have the first blood match. Jerry Lawler coming out with his backup, Braun Strowman, and HBK coming out not to wrestle but to fight in fight attire, cowboy boots, but with Jerry Lawler hiding behind Braun Strowman at just about every opportunity and using all the other tricks he's gained over the years with all his experience. He really had HBK's number in the early stages of this one, using the elements to its advantage as well. I mean, this match does still have the same rules applied to it, but given the nature of the first blood match, it's there's going to be certain things the referee turns a blind eye to that he normally wouldn't. HBK does make a comeback though, of course, being as talented as he is. He was going to get into the fight one way or another. He goes for the sweet chin music, but Lawler dodges it, and one of the few wrestling moves that he'll perform in this match, he just goes straight back into that mode before dropping HBK down onto his head. And it just seemed like throughout this match, Jerry Lawler was much more focused on the task at hand of just trying to bust HBK open, whereas HBK was more overcome with emotion and really just looking to beat Lawler up without really focusing on the objective of the match. Lawler here just trying to take the legs out of HBK, but it's difficult to do. Look at him nip up here. He's going to go for another sweet chin music, and perhaps catching Lawler too perfectly here, right on the chin, when it might be easier to bust open other parts of his head. Another distraction from Braun, a pile driver, and just one last fist drop, and Open comes the forehead of Shawn Michaels. Jerry Lawler wins the first blood match, and the crowd boo this dastardly devil. Championship time. Once again, we got the World Cruiserweight Champion Eddie Guerrero defending his title against Cedric Alexander, the man no one believed in, perhaps just only himself. He's worked his way up to this shot. He's earned it, as well as anyone's earned any championship shot in their life. But Eddie Guerrero set out to make an example and try to humiliate Cedric Alexander. He wasn't having it though. Alexander's got a lot of really interesting and unique moves that put Eddie off his game for a time. But Eddie stuck to the task and kept it simple, in fairness. One powerbomb and then getting Cedric up for another over-the-top last ride type powerbomb. Eddie Guerrero retains the title and his long reign continues, bringing us to the main event. Randy Orton versus The Rock, the World Heavyweight Championship on the line in front of The Rock's adoring hometown fans. Orton is a super talented individual and certainly in his prime at this stage, but also probably more entitled than he is talented, even more so. And sometimes you see in an Orton match, if it's just not going his way, he tends to give up and fall apart a bit. And that's what we saw in this match. It was rather quick. The Rock comes away with the win. Very few things that will get to The Rock. He is always focused on the task, and it is achievement unlocked for The Rock. Let's move over to the NWA. A fantastic match over here for the International Championship. Ric Flair, of course, the champion, followed to the ring by his four horsemen stablemate Ted DiBiase and manager Bobby Heenan. Mitsuharu Misawa, his opponent, the one half of the NWA Tag Team Champions with Kenta Kobashi. And what a technical masterclass this one was. Flair, of course, targeting the legs, as is so often his way of going about things, setting up that figure four leg lock. So very mat-based match between these two, and Flair really not letting up at all. When Misawa got the opportunity though, he's got a lot of power, he's got a lot of technique. You see that spinning back elbow, the tiger suplex. There's so much Misawa can do, and really had Flair in trouble at parts of this. But Flair, his old tricks, they're there for a reason. They work. You see there, Ted DiBiase is so excited he duplicated himself. And maybe that was enough for Flair to kick out of that second spinning elbow, drop Misawa to the ground, lock in the figure four, and there's not much Misawa can do from this point. He had to tap out. Flair retains the International Championship. Another long reign continues. Let's have a look at WCW. Now, this was an interesting one. We heard recently about this tag match not going ahead due to a drug test failure by Scott Steiner. All WCW had to do was have the match in another state, because that's the state of these commissions. It didn't matter. So, another technical match, of course, two world-class tag teams in the Steiners and the Harts, but the Harts just a more capable team, proving why they're the tag team champions, and Bret Hart eventually overcoming Rick Steiner with the sharpshooter. He was saved once by his brother Scott, but the feat could not be achieved twice, and the Harts retain. We move over to the UK and NXT, and we had what was technically an exhibition match between Alexander Wolf and Finn Balor. The North American Championship, you can see they're not on the line, as Alexander Wolf not only has not qualified for that division, but has no interest in that title, is a bit of a Euro snob, and just a fantastic co-main event for the people to enjoy. And Finn Balor really showing his incredible agility and technical prowess against the formidable Alexander Wolf, and putting him in trouble early. But Alexander Wolf was able to come back and show his power and his own European technique, attempting here a number of suplexes in order to keep the Irishman down. It would take him a while, but eventually, with a Death Valley driver and then a powerbomb, he was able to defeat the North American champion. Much to the dismay of most of the people in attendance, but a wonderful performance by Wolf. And Imperium continues to establish their dominance. The main event was between Kayley Ray, a Pilates instructor, perhaps, and the United Kingdom champion, the man, Becky Lynch. Of course, Kayley Ray jumping the queue somewhat in defeating Lynch in a tag team match recently. Not exactly a qualifier for number one contender usually, but Becky Lynch, a lot of pride, and she wanted to get this win back over Kayley Ray, who is certainly an opponent of worth, but despite having a few moments of looking the part, she soon succumbed to the dominance that Becky Lynch has shown for quite some time now as United Kingdom champion, and wasn't really able to get back into the match once Becky Lynch's momentum began to overtake. Nice double arm suplex there. Becky Lynch taunting Kayley Ray as she goes about her business, slamming into the mat several times before locking in the disarmer. Nowhere for Kayley Ray to go. She taps out, and the man is still the champ. Moving over to Mexico, LLM action, and the young Rey Mysterio, gaining in popularity rapidly in Mexico, takes on the absolute nutjob Penta. And definitely a mismatch in terms of size, although there aren't too many wrestlers that are as small as Rey Mysterio. Though look, he managed to stay in it. He's certainly incredibly talented as Rey Mysterio, and you see here some high-flying moves. He's quick. The kicks are useful to try and stop Penta from having the mobility to keep him down. But Penta's own striking is top-notch. And unfortunately for Rey Mysterio, it was hard to overcome. Big knee drop there. A huge spinning wheel kick. Really had Rey Mysterio in all sorts of trouble, and he showed incredible toughness to stay down, which, if anything, just annoyed Penta, and he just got even more aggressive with his offense. Rey Mysterio wasn't out of it yet. Once again, some really unique and exciting offense. A counter there, nearly dropping Penta on his head, and this one does drop Penta on his head. Off the top rope, a face buster, wheelbarrow face buster. The crowd thought he had it, but Penta kicks out. And then he kicks Rey Mysterio square in the face, and then knees him in the face, and pretends it's just another day at the office. Well, he's not really pretending, is it? This is really all Penta's about. Picks him up, drops him down with the knee, and he's not getting up from that one, Rey Mysterio. The mask isn't much protection, and Penta comes away with the victory. Impressive from him. Very unique look. The main event on this show, though, in Mexico for LLM was for the LLM Championship. Rey Mendoza, the current champion, taking on Lindsay Dorado, and really exciting start, fast pace. These two happy to fly around in the traditional lucha libre way. Lindsay Dorado in particular there to entertain the fans. Look at that backflip. But, a backflip from Mendoza as well, of much more use to the match. And the momentum continued for Mendoza from there, although at least he kept up the spectacular nature of his offense. It was a fantastic match. Mendoza had to try several moves in order to keep Lindsay Dorado down, and it was actually more of a mat-based move that ended it. Sickening driver with a package that Dorado couldn't get out of. Mendoza retains the title on behalf of Legado del Fantasma. And that's it for the international scene and for this show here. I'll leave you with some bloopers. But on the next episode, we will fast track to King of the Ring. And I'll catch you up on everything that happens in between. Thank you very much for watching this one. And until then, have a good one.